What's up, Falcons Nation, NFL fans? It's your boy Jew coming at you guys with another Atlanta Falcons video. In today's video, I would like to talk about draft prospect Byron Murphy. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about draft prospect Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy is the defensive tackle. He played his college ball at Texas, and he goes about 6'1", 285 pounds to 290 pounds. And Byron Murphy is one of those guys that I think the Falcons should target in this upcoming draft, possibly in the second round. Byron Murphy is a powerful defensive lineman. He reminds me of Grady Jarrett, to be honest, because he is kind of an undersized interior pass rusher, but he is one of those guys that has great, great quickness, short area quickness. He's really powerful, really hard to block, especially in the run game. He is one of those guys that has a low center of gravity. And as they say in football, the low man wins. And if you go watch his highlights, you go watch his film and his tape at the University of Texas, he was one of those guys that was very disruptive on that defensive line. As I mentioned, one of those guys that was really good at penetrating in the backfield and getting tackles for loss in the run game. And he also had about 5 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, last season at the University of Texas, but was one of those guys that had a ton of tackles for loss, and was one of those guys that affected the pocket. Both him and T'Vondre Sweat were two guys that pushed the pocket, and I definitely think that Byron Murphy is one of those guys. The comparison they gave him was Ed Oliver, that plays with the Buffalo Bills. But he gives me vibes of Ed Oliver and Grady Jarrett. But as we know, Grady Jarrett is one of those guys that's extremely powerful, extremely quick with his hands. And Byron Murphy is the same. Very quick with his hands, very good with the hand work, very good at leveraging his pad level to be able to, prevent offensive linemen from pushing him, out of run lanes and things of that nature. And he's really good at using his hands to get into the backfield, using his strength and his power to be able to, get into the backfield and either affect the quarterback by getting a sack or getting a tip on the football, or even tackling the running back in the backfield, because he's gotten by, with a swim move and gotten by the interior offensive line. So I definitely think that Byron Murphy would be one of those guys that will fit perfectly in this Atlanta Falcons defense. I do think that he could be a game changer. And as we know, Grady Jarrett is starting to get up there in age. Not saying that Grady Jarrett should be replaced, but it would be great to have another player that's just as good or has a similar skill set to a Grady Jarrett. As we know, last year when Grady Jarrett went down with injury, both him and David Onyemata, our Falcons kind of struggled down the stretch because we didn't have those interior guys that could affect the pocket and push the pocket, and we had a lot of injuries. So I definitely think that Byron Murphy would be one of those guys that could add depth. And you guys know, in the trenches, you need multiple guys that can pressure the pocket, pressure the passer, push the pocket, to allow those guys on the edge to do what they do best as far as speed rushing and, getting those guys those one-on-one matchups. And if you have a guy like Byron Murphy that can push the pocket and that can, get into the backfield and also get sacks themselves, like him and Grady Jarrett, I really think that he would be one of those guys that could really help this Atlanta Falcons team. And we know last season with our Atlanta Falcons, what made our defense really good, especially early on in the season before Grady Jarrett got injured, was we could rotate our defensive line because we had, a really good depth on our defensive line. So I definitely think that Byron Murphy is one of those guys the Falcons should consider in this draft. I definitely think he could turn into, could be a superstar in the NFL, could be a breakout player, a Pro Bowl type player, similar to a Grady Jarrett. But with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on Byron Murphy possibly being drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.